2019. What I'm going to do today, I'll go a quick run through. My hair's all messed up because I went surfing this morning. I'm going to do a quick run through in terms of what you need to do for your critical thinking assignment. So we go right into the class right here, and then I'm also going to do a fairly quick review. The material is not that difficult this week, but it is the natural progression. Okay, in terms of everything we've learned about the chronic diseases of aging, the non-communicable diseases, these things that wear on you and require quite a bit of care. And so that responsibility is going to be on your shoulders. And so we're going to be talking about that. Yes, this is a big part of your responsibility. You're going to assist your parents in the care of your grandparents. Some of you, your parents are going to be getting older because what have we learned about this class? There's a big delay in reproduction. So yeah, I'm 63 and my oldest is 23 and my youngest is 18. So sadly, they're going to be having to help with terms of caregiving for both Julia and I. Okay. First of all, don't forget your tickets. Okay. But an awesome game last night, and also don't forget you need to have a clear plastic bag to get into the stadium. Okay. Very cool. Yeah, Julia and I got to be coach of the week yesterday, so it was real cool. We were on the field. And turn on the team. And sadly, we had a few injuries. And yeah, these I had similar knee injuries and things like that. And these become part of the chronic disease of aging. You get it repaired and etc. But becomes the locus for arthritis when you get older. Okay, it's the whole reason why I got a total knee replacement was because of what I did playing basketball in my 20s. Okay. All you guys will realize that as well. And you can certainly talk to your parents about the war stories. Let's go ahead and just jump right into what's important. Of course, Julia did send out the note to all of you, and you can see this down here, that she was going to delay, okay, the due date in terms of CT2. There it is right there. She pushed it back, okay, because of our first time ever fall break, which was awesome, okay. Coincided with homecoming. All right, so I probably should have done this last week, but I'm doing it now. And again, the paper is going to be due upcoming, okay, as indicated in her email at the end of the week. So we're going to scroll right through CT1, you see all the way we do the grading, frequently asked questions, CT1, and here's CT2. These are, the learning objectives. What about aging is putting us at risk? And being able to figure out critically the difference between aging and natural aging and age-related disease. Okay, so we're asking you now to be part of the healthcare system. You can have this patient Edward that's got a number of important symptoms. You'll read through this. He's got the classic symptoms of Alzheimer's disease. He's forgetful. He's wandering outside the home and cannot find his way back. So this is the kind of spatial memory system. It's the very first part to go off. We have this little part of our brain right here that we use for maps, and it's called the hippocampus. And it is also for incorporating new memories. So and retrieving old ones. So it's an important structure, and it dies off. It's the first to go in Alzheimer's. And there's a phenomena called sundowner syndrome. When it gets dark outside, it's very easy for people that have Alzheimer's disease to get lost and start wandering around. Okay. As part of being a member of the healthcare system, again, you're an intern, which means you're a doctor, and so you're just you sit there and you talk to the patient, but maybe the patient is not very well off in terms of capacity, and so you're going to be working with the caregiver, okay, and they're going to tell you that, oh yes, by the way, he's had a long run of type 2 diabetes, okay. And so that, as a doctor, will make a little light bulb go off, okay? Because this is a huge risk factor for getting Alzheimer's disease. So we looked at diabetic heart disease, and we know that it was a risk factor for getting heart attacks and stroke, diabetes, and down the line, they are now referring to Alzheimer's disease as type 3 diabetes because some estimates put the number of Alzheimer's patients, if we look across the board at who's getting it, 80% of Alzheimer's patients have diabetes. Okay, so there's something really going on in terms of their blood vessels. Okay, alrighty, and that's something that you're gonna think about when you write this up. Okay, so you come down here and you can refer to what, these are the criteria that we're going to use in the grading. Okay, it's showing you right down here in the rubric. Okay, read through that rubric. Okay, what is diagnosis and treatment and prognosis of Alzheimer's disease? Okay, diagnosis, the only thing we have at hand, okay, is a psychological battery of tests called the mini mental status exam. There's no blood test for Alzheimer's. If you have a treatment facility, large research facility, you have grants that will fund you to do some brain imaging, but that's not standard of care because it's way too expensive. Treatment, we don't have anything. We have these drugs that are cognitive enhancers, okay? Two different classes of them, and one increases the level of acetylcholine in the brain, the other one slows down the aggressive aspect of this one amino acid. Doesn't work. Okay, it's really sad. Prognosis is terrible, and that's where we're at. Okay, sadly, it was about 2 years ago. The largest pharmaceutical companies in the world, okay, announced that they were no longer going to be doing research into treatments for Alzheimer's or Parkinson's because it costs the company way too much money. Okay, it's because when you develop a drug and you test it, you have to follow the patient over a 6, 7, 8, 10-year period, and then you realize the drug didn't work. That is just not a great business model. And so Big Pharma said, that's it, we're done with this, we'll leave it up to biomedical research in the university system. So it's a real slow pace. Cancer drugs, a whole different story. Nothing but new cancer drugs. Why? Because you can develop a drug within 2-3 weeks of testing the drug, you know right away whether it works. Okay? All right. Type 2 diabetes, type 1, okay, with diabetes. What are they? Okay? And you can include charts and graphs and figures about the link between type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's, heart disease. Okay, what is that relationship? Okay, use 2 outside references. Do not turn it in late, and do not plagiarize, because turn it in is awesome. It'll catch you for everything. Okay, all right, let's go back here. Type 1, this is called juvenile onset diabetes. It happens in very young people, very unique. It's where the immune system attacks the organ that's responsible for releasing insulin. Okay, it's called the pancreas. It's an autoimmune disease, and so you are completely insulin dependent. Type 2 diabetes, whole different story. Okay, this is adult onset. It happens in your 40s, 50s, 60s, even 70s. It primarily starts due to a resistance of the insulin receptors to the action of insulin, and it's associated. Why is that resistance happening? It's associated with really poor diet and obesity. So these are lifestyle modifiers that you can alter and improve your situation. However, there is a genetic predisposition for this. So I can sit here and eat all the cookies I want and never get type 2 diabetes, where if you have a family history of it, you eat too many cookies over a short period of time, and boom, suddenly your insulin receptor profile is altered forever. So you have to be very conscious of your family line and alter your behavior accordingly. What can you do to remedy this? Again, a nice moderate diet, lots of veggies, very low sweets, very low carbs, okay, and exercise, okay? Exercise improves the sensitivity of your insulin receptors, okay? How does diabetes cause atherosclerosis, okay? What happens is when your blood sugar gets elevated, it actually will candy coat all the proteins and things that are the cells that are floating around in the blood, and this then looks for all intents and purposes like garbage, and the immune system will attack it, and then lo and behold, when it's happening chronically all the time, you use your immune system acutely, that's all good. But when it's chronic, you're in trouble, okay? And what it does then is it begins to eat away and cause repair, and eat away and cause repair at the vasculature, and the inner line of the vasculature goes like this, and you have what's called atherosclerosis. All right, if that's happening in my kidneys, I have kidney failure. If it's happening in my heart, I have coronary artery disease. in heart failure. If it happens in my brain, I have cerebral artery failure, okay? And then this causes Alzheimer's disease. The parts of the brain begin to die off. You have, because of the garbage that is atherosclerosis, you have a major inflammation. The immune system's up there, and it's, the immune system is supposed to do its thing and then stop. Just do it in seconds, not over a 30-year period of diabetes. Okay. All right. That's the whole link right there. All right. So we're talking about this link right here. All right. How do you diagnose diabetes? Okay. You can do a blood test and look at your blood sugar levels. You can do a fasting glucose level. You can do what's a glucose challenge test. Okay. These are just kind of a short term, a little window in time. And the most important one is called the hemoglobin A1C test. And this looks at how high your sugar is all the time, chronically. Okay. Alrighty. How do we treat Alzheimer's? Behavioral modification, exercise, brain challenging things, music, as we saw in the last week's discussion. That's what you do. Diabetes, improve your diet, you do exercise, and there are a number of drugs that are used. Some that will cause an improvement in terms of insulin receptor sensitivity, others that cause increases in the amount of insulin that's released to overcome the insensitivity of the insulin receptors. That's not a good long-term treatment because in the end, things begin to fail, okay? So you can improve your diabetic situation, okay? Sadly, once Alzheimer's starts, it's going to progress, and there's not much you can do, but you can slow the course through diet, exercise, and cognitive exercises, but you're not going to stop it, okay? Alrighty, do as you're told right here, 2 references, cite them. Don't forget, you can do a figure as indicated right here, boom, 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 okay? Follow the directions. Alrighty, pretty sad, okay? So, I hate talking about these chronic diseases of aging. When you go home for Thanksgiving, I want you to take a long, hard look at your parents or grandparents. This course is also about kind of family relationships and just really the contract that we have with our parents. They have helped you out amazingly as you're a dependent, and it's going to come to the point where they're going to be dependent on you, and I want you to prepare yourself accordingly. Okay. Alrighty, so we come in here to the week's assignment, and boom, and we're going to come down here. Like I said, you are now experts in all these diseases: diabetes, diabetic heart disease, Alzheimer's disease. Okay, and so and this is a big part of you managing their health care. Okay, and it's called caregiving. Alrighty. This particular article is fairly short, and it's just all about why we're seeing the statistical changes that we're seeing. Okay, we're looking at who's the person most likely to be doing the caregiving. Okay, traditionally the 45 to 64-year-old is caring for the oldest old, the 80-year-olds, but there are a lot of 6-year-olds that need help, and realistically, because your parents delayed reproduction potentially, this number may not apply, okay? It could be you in your 30s, okay? And then we look at the ratios, okay, the availability. And so there's big changes, okay? Our projection in terms of the future is the availability is going down, down, down. And we can see this right here. This is all outlined in this article, okay? So when we're looking at the number of potential caregivers, okay, versus the number of people needing care, okay, right here, we're looking at this ratio, looking at, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. Really, the projections are over millions of people. Sorry about that misspeak right there. And we can see that the number of people available to help these individuals going down. The number of people that need help, of course, is going up, and we'll show you that. We'll reiterate that. You already know that, okay? And it's a combination of our family cultures, okay, and how we don't have as many kids, but it's also kind of a change in our community cultures, and that's an important thing to consider, okay? And when we get into down here, we talk about this, okay? In the discussion, for example, we go in here and we look at cultural diversity in caregiving, okay? And the American way is, I'm so busy with my life because I want to be a super success that I don't have time for you, mom and dad and grandma and grandpa. So I'm going to punt this to assisted living facility. And it's a really kind of a deterioration of American culture. It's really sad because worldwide that's not the case. And that's what this is all talking about right here, okay? We look at, see here that, that in general, Asian Americans make far less use of professional support services. So it's part of the family culture, not only a duty, but it's a joy to have grandma and grandpa around. And it could be, it could be full turn. Grandma and grandpa can watch your kids too while you're working, but keeping that tight knit family together. Sometimes the cost of a professional caregiver, okay, an assisted living facility, or somebody that would come by your house for a fee, it's just too exorbitant. So you have no choice. And so we see this with lots and lots of different cultures that don't have enough money. And that's what this is all about right here. It talks about that right here, okay? This particular group, okay, so this culture of people all across the world find a lot of difficulty, okay, in terms of doing care for them when they got older. First of all, if they have children, there's far likely to have far fewer children. There's a good chance they might not have any children at all. And they don't have large, tight-knit communities that will support them, okay? What else we have? If you're living out in the boonies and in rural areas, first of all, you're more likely to be poor, can't afford the services, the service delivery system's not there, okay? And your family has moved away, okay? Typical of, what happened with my wife's grandparents. They had 4 kids, all 4 kids, they had a farm in southern Illinois. It was absolutely beautiful. All 4 kids went to college, all 4 kids moved out, okay? And there was nobody there to help them out. So there was this long distance caregiving. It was really, really difficult, okay? That's what this is all about, okay? So do try and capture this, and it'll come up in the reading. And then this guy right here, he talks about, oops, sorry, I didn't mean that happened, about the true cultural differences, okay? And comparing what is success in American society to what is success in this particular example, South American societies, okay? And yeah, our value system is a bit screwed up. It is what it is. We look at, the happiest people, they tend to be the most long-lived. And I just want to show you this one group right here. In fact, we're going to be running a course. If you think about doing something over the summer, this is going to be a Maymester course, okay? And Julie and I are going to do it down in Costa Rica, all right? And we're going to go to the Nicoya Peninsula, okay? All righty, and all right, and here's the blue zones, okay? So that's what this is all about. What allows, they have more centenarians in this particular small peninsula of Costa Rica than anywhere else in the world, okay? People live long lives, they're very happy, very simple cultures, okay? And the community is there as a caregiver. And that's an important difference between us in the United States and this beautiful region in Costa Rica. If you as a family member have trouble in terms of meeting the needs of your grandparent at that moment in time, then there are multiple members of the community that will kick in and help you out, and you know that you're going to do the same for them. So there is the family, okay, that is genetic, okay, and then there is the extended logical family that is your circle of very supportive people, okay. For me, I have this logical family of surfers that is generations, so we hang out together and we support each other hugely. All right, so yes. We have a lot to learn here. So this is a really cool thing, and I'll be sending out announcements to you guys further if you're looking to do a semester, Maymester course overseas. Okay, really it's kind of around the sea. It's not in Costa Rica, and we're going to teach you all about diet, exercise, surfing classes, everything. It's going to be awesome. Okay. Alrighty, guys. So that's the basics of this. Think about caregiving. Think about your familial, and just kind of your like I said, logical family, your cultural support system. Okay, in what role you might have, and maybe how you might change American society to make it better, so that it's more supportive and less of a financial toll on those people when they need it. All right, guys, that's it right now. Good luck with your critical thinking assignment number 2, and fight on. Okay.